All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the bottom left side of Jagannatha, it's gonna be your blue Protoss. She is SCARLETT. Wrong camera angle, there we go. And in the top right, your blue Protoss from Dick Boy is Parting. And that's his own clan, of course. We love Parting. Parting's back to playing. It's great, it's wonderful. It's from the ESL NA Open Cup 75, I believe, is what it was. Let me just fact check that real quick to make sure I'm not telling a terrible and utter lie. But it is from the ESL NA Open, of course. ESL hosts these Open Cups for EPT points. Yes, Cup 75. For EPT points, anyone can play in them, however, from any server. So oftentimes you will have Korean players playing in the NA Cup. But however, what that does mean is that if it ends up being Korea versus NA, you play on NA servers. Now, of course, SCARLETT, runner-up in the NA DreamHack event recently to qualify for the World Finals of DreamHack. Did end up losing to Neeb, but showed some really great games. Recently as well, I believe there was... What event was it? There was another recent one that we did end up casting where SCARLETT did face off against Astrea and Neeb again. So there's been lots of ZVPs for SCARLETT to practice. Now, do I think that either of those players, Astrea or Neeb, prepare SCARLETT for Parting? No. Parting's playstyle is very much different than any other Protoss. Parting will rely on his micro. He is not afraid to just go with 3 base Blink Stalkers and try and kill you with that. Although that is something that Neeb has been doing a bit more recently, off of a Stargate opener, going into a +1 Blink Stalker timing. So we'll see. SCARLETT, her ZVP recently at least, I wouldn't say it's been her best matchup. I think SCARLETT does have better matchups. I think her ZVP has looked weak at some points. There's some transitions from her that don't look the cleanest, especially going in, from roaches into your 4th base, getting up the layer to hive tech. It's been a bit rough in some games I have seen of hers, but now it does manage to slip in these 2 lings, which is of course very nice. Gets a good scout around to see what tech Parting is going for. Well, would see what tech Parting is going for if Parting places down a tech building. He's actually just not even placing one down, trying to get a catch with those probes and won't be able to. And we'll have to see if that building maybe goes down on the low ground. This is quite a while to delay getting either a Stargate or a Twilight Council, but no, it's actually going to be the Robo Facility. Okay. Usually you don't see the Robo Facility as that first tech building, but in interest, we'll see what this build order does entail here for Parting on this map. Jagannatha is a map where a lot of players do like going for Glaive to Depths. I think it kind of has been popular on this map just because it's so quick to get across it. The bases themselves are very easy to shade between, especially if they do take that linear third instead of this one that's up from the main. However, that does not appear as though it's going to be the game plan here for Parting just yet. No Twilight Council has been placed down. It is simply the Robo Facility. Going to be popping out an Observer, and that is a very early Robo Bay. Ooh, this might be Disruptor drops here from Parting. That would be very interesting. I actually have not seen Disruptor drops, at least in a pro match, in a very long time. It used to be something that some pros were testing out. They were trying to kind of fit in against a Zerg, but I don't think it really ever went anywhere. And yeah, that's the Warp Prism. Parting gonna be mixing in the Disruptor drop here in game number 1. I'm loving this so far already. Roachworn going to be coming down for SCARLETT on the other side, has gotten up her 3rd base without any issues at all. Does have quite a few lings here that are going to be threatening at the front. Just moving around, trying to see what Parting is doing, because for SCARLETT, there's not a lot of information that has been gained. If you look at what she has seen here in the main base, it's been nothing. Parting delayed the Robo Facility as long as possible. He did not place down any tech for her to really see. So this is a Zerg that's in the dark, and that's why you're seeing so many units being produced from SCARLETT here. She's only on 48 workers and is building lings and roaches. And I don't really know if that's the response that you want because, well, Lynx and Roaches, they're not the best at dealing with disruptors now. 3-Dep's gonna push out here. Parting just trying to see if he can get any sort of damage. Gets Creep Tumor, and we'll just have to pick up. The disruptors are on the way already. I believe have one produced. As there it is at the top of the ramp. And he's just gonna wait for that Warp Prism to come back. Gravitic Drive is done. That is the Warp Prism speed, but SCARLETT, I mean, she has a push ready here. This is actually a very strong army from the Zerg. It's 50 supply. You know, SCARLETT, this is something that I've seen her do a lot recently where she cuts workers at around 48, 46 and just goes straight into Ling Roche Ravager and tries to push across the map, especially on Jagannatha. Now, she has seen, I believe, the disruptors there. They are just maybe not quite in field of view. Out to see, she's pushing back though. So, yeah, I think SCARLETT realizes, hey, Parting is only on 2 bases here. This is, you know, he has 2 disruptors. There's no reason to push this as the Zerg. Scar's gonna go back into macroing up, and with, you know, you want to see probably a 4th base drop somewhere soon here for her. With that being said, Parting, gonna see how much these disruptors get done. You can't help but feel like it's delayed though. You know, these disruptors were supposed to come out, I'd even say a minute earlier, as, oh, that Queen almost drags them back onto the disruptors, but will get eliminated. Parting's gonna do a push with this. It's gonna be a push for Parting. There is no blink with this, mind you. Unlike what Parting usually does, there is no blink. It is Colossus and 2 disruptors. This is an army that can shred through Lings. You gotta say, SCARLETT is setting up a Ling counterattack, however, has Roaches and Ravagers ready. Force fields going down. Here comes the Lynx around. No more force fields ready to be able to zone them out. And that Colossus is going to get pounced on. A good dodge on the first disruptor shot. And there goes the Colossus. The disruptors are going to die. Everything gets picked off. And this build from SCARLETT, I've seen it before. It just does so well when the Protoss is trying to stay on 2 bases. And she will pick up game 1. On to Oxide for game number 2. The top right is SCARLETT. The bottom left. Went for that 2-base timing attack, a build that, or something that was pretty hardly countered by the play that SCARLETT had ready. It is Parting. Now, and they did kind of mention there at the end of game 1, that Roach Ravager Ling kind of timing is something that I've seen a lot from SCARLETT. It's something that she's very, very comfortable with doing. And it's something that I've seen, especially on that map, she just is very willing to go for as, oh my god. He's gonna cannon rush. Parting, you are dirty. You are dirty, Parting. Oh, this is so nasty. Even, ooh, Parting dancing around with this probe. Doesn't want to give away the fact that it's cannon rush. Oh, gets the 3 pylon wall though. That is absolutely massive. Now can place down 1 more onto the low ground. This is just to stop the drones from being pulled out to see. Is there another pylon coming up behind this? No. I think Parting, he's just going to put the cannon onto the low ground off of this 1 pylon that is building. This is so well executed. SCARLETT was not ready. She was not expecting it. Cannon, gateway cannon. That cannon, gateway pylon blocks off the cannon. SCARLETT, you're getting cheese. Parting is going to come through here in game number 2. He says, I don't want to mess around. I'm going to show you what I am made of. This is as cheesy as it gets. The pylon is going to finish. The cannon will be coming up soon. You have more cannons coming up. Another pylon as well in case that one goes down. SCARLETT is doing a great job of focusing these pylons, but I don't think that's enough. A second one is going to go up just in time. She's not going to be able to focus the first, and Parting, oh, he's being so cheeky here with his probe. He's trying to block out the drones. GG, SCARLETT just going to tap out there. And game 2 already done. All right, into what has to be one of the fastest game 3s I have seen in a while. In the bottom left side of 2,000 atmospheres, it's SCARLETT. And in the top right, oh, he's it's Parting. Okay, I don't think it's cheese. I saw 2 probes going down and I did think it was cheese immediately, but I do believe this is just the hatchery block. It's not gonna be anything crazy. I got a little bit excited for a second there. I felt the nerd chill stirring up deep in my belly. if Parting was going to cheese again. But no, it's not Parting who's going to cheese. No, it's going to be SCARLETT going with not necessarily actually a very, very aggressive build. It is just a 16 pool. More aggressive would be a 14-14 pool and gas, but she's not going for that. This is a 16 pool. It's going to get out Lings a bit faster than you would with a regular hatchery timing, of course, but necessarily as long as the Protoss has their buildings in position, is not going to take any damage from it. However, she will get the hatchery here on the low ground. That's always nice, as Parting did want to scout out and see why it was just being slightly delayed. Scouts out the hatch timing, and this should not be any problem for Parting to hold. He's going to go for the early Nexus, and then from there, it's just going to be a simple matter of actually just getting a 2-building wall off. The nice thing about 2,000 atmospheres, especially as Protoss, get that scoreline up there for you guys, is that you don't actually need a lot to wall this off. You just need 2 buildings. There is enough space here versus the wall, I believe, if I'm not wrong, that these 2 buildings alone are enough to block it off. I'll have to see if that's correct. I think you can. I think it is thin enough. So this should not be too hard. You don't see another gate coming down or anything Parting. Will they have a Zealot out in time? I don't know if he'll have an Adept out in time, actually. With the Chrono Boost, it is close, and it's only 2 Lings, of course, so that's very, that is manageable with just probes alone. But yeah, the Lings are going to be able to slip in here. They're not going to get a ton of damage. They're just going to see what they can do. And yeah, that actually is not a full wall off, so never mind. I did think there is a map in the pool where you can do a full wall off with just 2 buildings. But I guess it is not this one. Yeah, you'll see the Probes Bolt immediately kill one of the Zerglings, and SCARLETT, for this opening, it doesn't get a lot of information. It's some scouting. You see that, well, Parting's going for an early expand, and that's about it. Oh, might be able to see the Stargate. Yep. Does manage to catch that it is Stargate tech in this game at the very least. Which is, of course, the more standard Protoss opening. Usually, a lot of Protosses have been favoring it still, even though it's kind of been figured out in the meta. It's still just very, very solid. A lot of Protoss have been leaning though towards the transition out of it into ground army. For instance, you see a lot of what Neeb does is he'll go a Void Ray, and then he'll add on Oracles if he feels like he can use them, 1 or 2 of them, and then from there we'll go into a +1 Blink Stalker time. We'll have to see if that's going to be what Parting does. I wouldn't be surprised because it's a very potent build. It's very micro intensive, and that's something that Parting, of course, does excel at. So I'll have to see if that is going to be the course of action for him as those additional gases are going to go down. SCARLETT could be taking the 3rd, and of course she is slightly delayed on her economy with the later hatch. I mean, at this point you would usually expect, I believe, the Zerg to be around 38 to 40 workers. SCARLETT will get up to that count, but it's just going to be a little bit later than she would probably like it to be. Just because of those early Lings, because the early pool has that much less mining. That means that Parting for a while here will be equal on economy with the Zerg, which is always a place that you're happy to be in. Now, okay. We're gonna see that fleet beacon pop down. You're like, why is he building a fleet beacon? For those of you that haven't seen, there is a build on this map. Now, there are 2 variations of it. This could just be 2 base carrier, which is a build that has been popular for some Protosses if they want to defend against the Queen Roach Ravager push that a lot of Zergs do. No redundancy here. That a lot of the Zergs do against that early 3rd with the Stargate. The carriers are much more easily able to defend it. However, there is also another build where you go Tempest. And there we're going to see it from Parting. This is a build that Max Pax actually did, because there is so much dead airspace here on this map. By the main, by the natural base, by the 3rd, there is so much dead airspace that Tempests are actually incredibly effective at just nestling themselves in there, getting drone kills, picking off all sorts of units, and even tech buildings if they're nestled at the back of the base, like the spawning pool. This is, this is a really lovely build, but once again, we are seeing SCARLETT here off of about 51, workers, producing quite a few Lings, producing quite a few units to try and defend it. I don't know if SCARLETT saw the Tempest. There's no Spire going down, so I'm Going to assume that for now she did not. It's just going to be the 2 Tempest at first. That's going to be transitioned now into Void Rays as the 3rd base comes down. Because, of course, the Void Rays are just a much better defensive unit. But yeah, there we see, actually. Oh, this is so lovely. This is so lovely from Parting. Getting the Void Ray speed upgrade, too. Now, Tempests are seen. Immediately, the Spire is placed down here by SCARLETT. Bears a kill onto that 4th base that was building, or that was going to be built by her. And yeah, this is fully into air. 2 Void Rays at a time, speed +1. And now it's going to be the Tempest pocketing themselves here at the back of the base. They can kind of have free reign. There's not a lot that you can do as the Zerg to defend against this. Now, an Observer would be helpful because, of course, the Tempest does have a lot more range than it can actually use. But you see here, Tempest able to pick away at Spore Crawlers at the back of the base. This means that SCARLETT is having to stay home, wait for the Spire to get up and finish, and then we'll be able to really transition that into Corruptors or Mutalisks to counter this and clear them up. But until then, Tempest just gonna be annoying. Gonna harass already 2 worker kills. It's not a lot, but ooh, Tempest trying to slot himself into the back of the base. That is so risky from Parting. This 6-kill Tempest will manage to pocket itself away, and it will see the Spire. Ooh, Parting. That is 10 health, 10 health. There's the recall immediately. Corruptors are going to be the unit of choice with +1 air weapons on the way. Behind this, what do we have from Parting? Well, it's still Void Ray production. Already sitting at a very healthy count. They're going to have 8 out with the 2 Tempests, and those are units that Corruptors, they don't do very well against. The Corruptors are great versus Tempests. They can chase them down. Against the Void Rays, not so much. They do not do good versus Void Rays. And these Void Rays, they are speedy boys. They move very, very quickly. So we'll have to see how the Corruptors pair up. He's Parting. He's already taking his 4th base. And this 4th base, it's not that far behind the Zergs. SCARLETT really had to delay a lot of her economy to be able to defend against the Tempests. Mind you, she was not wanting to go Spire. That Spire was popped down reactionary as a reactionary building. And from there, she's now getting up her upgrades. And she's only at 70 workers. Parting's at 65. He's already transitioning into a ground army that will hopefully be able to counter the Roaches, as you have the Templar Archives on the way, Robo Facility, +1 to charge. Everything's starting to come on the way for Parting, as the Zergling's going to try and pull a quick run by here. And Parting's just playing defensive. It's going to be a massive unit swell, though, from SCARLETT. That's 13 Roaches on the way. There will be Ravagers alongside it, the Corruptors as well. Oh my god, that is so many Queens. This is a very delayed Queen walk, but 13 Queens, 17 Roaches, and 16 Corruptors. It is so many units here for SCARLETT, as immediately the Caustic Spray going to be going down. Void Rays coming through. And the Void Rays, they can't really challenge these Queens. 2,000 atmospheres. It's a large map, but it's wide. It's not long. That distance for the Queens to walk is not far. Nice feedbacks on the Queens, but not enough Templar energy to really be able to get all of them low enough. 2 Tempests still are available here to focus fire onto them. As we're going to see the Corruptors here start to dive in. Prismatic Alignment immediately going to shred through them. But the Queen Walk is just so deadly. More feedbacks go down. There's not a lot of energy left on a lot of these Queens. But I think SCARLETT should be able to break the base. The 3rd for Parting is going to go down. Immediately a recall onto the probes. Only 9 going to go down. But what is left for Parting? What does he have left in this army? It's 3 Depths. It's 2 Tempests. It's only 6 Void Rays. This attack from SCARLETT might just do it. It was such a delayed Roach walk. But Parting got so greedy with his 4th base. I mean, he didn't have a lot of units. He didn't have his ground transition ready yet. Has a lot of gateways available, but there's a massive supply block coming through. You're seeing pylons that are going to try and relieve that. Charge lots are available for Parting, but he can't build them because he has no supply available. And now they're just going to walk on down to the 4th base. Shield Battery Overcharge is popped, but that's going to be shut down almost immediately. Charge lots, they do good, but do they do good enough? Void Rays, oh, take some massive biles. SCARLETT, she just has too much. The timing was good enough. Parting was not ready. Everything is going to go down. 113 army supply to 6, and SCARLETT should be able to handedly win this game. The 4th base is going down. Parting has nothing left. And SCARLETT should be able to get this swift 2-1 victory. It was a cool play. But unfortunately, the gimmick was not enough. SCARLETT gonna get the win.